Hey, welcome back ladies and gentlemen, it's Beasley and today we're looking at the Ausdom 1080 AF225 HD webcam. By the way, I want to thank the marketing folks over at Ausdom for sending this out to me. That being said, this camera comes in at an amazing $30 price, but I'm wondering if it is another one of those too good to be true products. There's only one way to find out, so let's get right into it. Now inside the box you'll find one webcam and one user manual. That's it. Although I did not receive any software in the box, in the manual it does state that the software can be downloaded from Ausdom's website. So I'm going to touch more on that in just 1 second. In terms of specs on paper, this camera offers high definition 1080p video capabilities, autofocusing, LED night version lighting, not to be confused with night vision. It's USB 2.0 compatible and supports all versions of Windows, starting from Windows XP and newer. It's worth mentioning that this camera will work with desktops and laptops. Now, for my fellow Mac users, don't feel left out. This camera works on a Mac also, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. So having a closer look at the product, you'll notice that it has an LED light on the front of the screen. This is the LED night version technology I just spoke about. You'll also notice a tiny pinhole at the bottom right-hand corner of the camera. This camera has a built-in microphone, and this is where the microphone exists. At the top, you have a photograph button for snapping still pictures, and then on the back you have an on and off switch for switching the LED light on and off. Now the base of this camera is foldable, which makes mounting it to a screen or standing up on a flat surface by itself very easy. The overall build quality of this camera feels a little on the cheaper side. Although this does not feel like it would break easily, the quality feel of the plastic feels a little bit cheap. Installing the product was straightforward. However, I should mention that the downloadable software is for Windows only. There is no supported Mac software to download. Now, you'll be surprised to know that this is probably good news for Mac users. I guess you probably want to know why too, right? Well, let's just say I'm not sure if this downloadable software was worth downloading. There are two zip files in the download. One is a video USB driver for the camera, and the other is a non-install standalone application that allows you to test to see if your camera is working. It also allows you to record a video using the camera. The features in the applications are very basic, and you really can't go beyond that. That said, you're going to have to rely on a third-party webcam software to fully take advantage of using this camera to its full potential. So let's talk about features of this camera and how well do they work.
First and foremost is the picture quality and frame rate. Now the same rule that applies to this webcam applies to any webcam. The more lighting you have in your room, then the better picture quality you're going to see. The less lighting you have in the room, then the more graininess, the more low quality image you're going to see. Now I have pretty decent lighting in this room, but I am still seeing graininess coming from my HD feed. So I'm kind of scratching my head on that one. In terms of frame rate, not the best of frame rate coming from this camera. I'm seeing delays when I speak. I'm seeing ghosting going on when I move around. To some people, they may be able to look past it and get over it, but for me, that's pretty annoying.
The LED night version technology, in my opinion, this is kind of an unuseful feature. When on, the LED light is more of a distraction than it is useful. Now, I'm assuming this LED is supposed to provide a tiny bit of light in low light situations, but the truth is, the subject is going to be sitting too far away from the camera for the light to even offer any kind of benefit. In fact, I had to turn it off because the LED was a bit of a distraction to my eyes, even when my eyes were looking at the screen. I understand the intention of this feature, but truth be told, it's a feature that shouldn't be included on a webcam. It's too distracting and ineffective. The good news is, you have an on and off switch to turn it off. Now my initial expectations for having a decent mic on this particular webcam was very low.
To be fair, I have to say that I have not yet to this day used a webcam that had what I would call a good quality onboard mic. That's sort of the trade-off of buying these webcams. These webcams are very tiny, and so are the microphones that's built on board of the webcams. You can only pass so much quality through such a tiny device, so again, that's sort of the trade-off there. Now, although the microphone on this camera gets the job done, you're still going to have to deal with and experience that low quality audio, as well as distortion every now and then.
This brings me to my overall experience. Who is this camera for? What are the things I liked and disliked about the camera? And actually, let's start with my dislikes. It does not include a supported downloadable software for Mac users. Now, this isn't a deal breaker, but it's just one of those things that can be annoying, especially if you're one of those people who buy this camera because you're on a budget and then realize you need to buy additional software to record videos locally with this camera on your Mac. Secondly, when I first started testing this camera, I kept hearing this annoying clicky noise. I was thinking that maybe it was the hard drive in my laptop going bad, and then I remembered that I have an SSD drive installed. Now, after learning that the clicky noise was coming from the camera, I quickly discovered that it was coming from the internal lens as it autofocused. I ended up disabling the autofocus and that resolved the noise issue. However, what that does tell me is that the manufacturer didn't go the extra mile to resolve that annoyance at the design stage. And then last but not least is the frame rate and image quality. Now, when you see 1080p HD labeled on a video device, you don't expect to see a grainy image. Although the image on the webcam was just okay for me, it didn't look like 1080p. I mean, I own several professional Logitech webcams, and the 1080p image you get on those webcams surpasses this webcam by a long shot. That's just my 2 cents. So what are the things that I like about this webcam? Well, first and foremost is the price. I mean, $30 for an HD webcam isn't a bad deal at all. Secondly, I also like the foldable base, which happens to be my favorite feature. And then last but not least is the overall design of this camera minus the LED light. I mean, it has a modern, sleek look, and I'm sure that's probably one of its selling points. So who is this camera for? In my opinion, it is for that individual who's on a strict budget and doesn't really have the additional $20 on top of the cost of this camera to spend on a better quality model like the Logitech C920. As a matter of fact, it's currently on sale for $50 on Amazon. Now, if you're just going to chat with friends and relatives from time to time and you're willing to sacrifice quality, then by all means you should look into buying this camera. However, for those higher end needs like business webcastings and conferences, I highly suggest spending a little bit more money for better quality. If you want to pick one of these up for yourself, a spouse, a friend, or a colleague, then use the Amazon link down in the video description. The small percentage that Amazon kicks back to me goes towards making more videos like this for you. Also, if you enjoyed this video, then please hit that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, come on now, you gotta subscribe now. Let's change that right now and join the family by clicking that subscribe button. And then last but not least, any questions or comments you may have, leave me a comment down in the comment section. I do take the time to read them all and reply back to as many as possible. That being said, I'll see you all in the next video. I'll sound you later.